Hi, my name's Aaron Ward. Today we'll be pan frying lamb. Starting off with the lamb cutlet. You want to be bringing it out of the fridge about 45 minutes before you're going to cook it. Just enough oil just to lightly coat it, and then slowly in with the lamb cutlets. The loin of the meat is quite lean, so keeping that little bit of fat on the outside helps to protect the meat from overcooking and then drying out. Adds a little bit of flavour. Lamb fat's quite delicious, so we can add a little bit of flavour in that as well. So we're just basting the lamb, so you're just getting the foamy butter and just helping to cook that and flavour that through the meat. You're adding heat from the top and the bottom as well. So about a minute either side. Okay, now we'll just take them out and we'll rest them for about a minute and a half. Okay, so here we have the lamb cutlets. So you can see the caramelisation on the outside. It's all flavour in the meat. With the fat in this, we just like to cut it through with a little bit of lemon, and that's the pan-fried lamb cutlets. So here we have the lamb neck. We've brined it for 24 hours, braised it for another 12 hours. We've taken it off the bone and then we've pressed it. We're going to pan fry the surface, give it a nice crust, then the inside will be nice and tender and juicy. Okay, so searing the lamb neck, you want a nice hot pan. We've taken it out at room temperature for about 15 minutes. Still a little bit cold, the gelatin in the inside will hold it together. So bringing it out too early, it'll collapse in the pan. So you can hear that nice sear. Try not to touch it and move it while it's in the pan. It'll tend to fall apart if you try and move the meat too much. It's nice and crunchy, have a nice crust on the outside. So we'll cook it for the same amount of time on the second side as we did the first, about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes either side. You can sort of gently just move one edge, and if it's lifted itself off the actual pan itself, then it's fine. You can see it's still juicy, just has a couple of different textures. Instead of just being a soft braised piece of meat, it'll then have the crust on the outside and then the braised piece of meat on the inside. We're going to be deviling some kidneys. Ideally soak them in milk overnight to remove some of the irony sort of flavour. Cut them in half. There's a little bit of sinew in the middle. You generally want to remove a little bit of that in with a knife. Removing that little bit of sinew. Removing that will stop it from shrinking up. Also gets rid of the chewy sort of texture when you're eating it. So from there, we'll just lightly dust them in the flour. So deviling, essentially it's a flavour seasoning. So we have a bit of cayenne pepper, mustard, flour, salt and pepper. So just a light coating, and then from there we'll just go straight into the pan. So start off with a little bit of oil. Just using rice bran oil. Olive oil has quite a high peppery flavour or grassy notes, where the rice bran oil is quite neutral and won't taint the flavour. So we'll put the outside down first with the cut side facing up. So we'll use that as our presentation side later. 1 minute on the first side. So we'll flip them over. There's nice crust on the outside, about 15 seconds on that side. So here we have a little bit of chicken stock, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of brandy as well. When you add the sauce, it continues to cook. We'll let that sit, forming the sauce with the flour on the outside. You want it to caramelise. Nice toasted flavours. And then we have the devilled kidneys.